2023 was a bumpy ride for the movie industry. Luckily, when it comes to historical film releases, it eventually ramped up, culminating in three heavy hitters, one of them being a contender to win a Best Picture at the Academy Awards, and the second one, very close, breathing down its neck. Hey, I'm Robin, I love history, but I'm bad at watching movies, so here we talk about historical film and TV. Now, before I start my top 5, here are a couple of honorable mentions that didn't make it on my list, simply because I couldn't get my hands on them, but otherwise pretty solid competitors. Even though my review of The Three Musketeers D'Artagnan was not particularly flattering, I still yet have to finish this French duology, just to be fair to the story as a whole. The second part was just released outside North America, so hopefully soon YouTube will offer us at least a paid version. There is also a Danish historical drama called The Promised Land, starring Mads Mikkelsen as Ludwig von Kallen, a real Danish captain and one of the first cultivators of Jutland Heath, a very dangerous and desolate area of 18th century Denmark. The role fits Mikkelsen like a glove, story looks and feels intense, and it is also 100% European co-production that promises quite a lot of historical precision and authenticity. I really can't wait to see this one. So, that being said, The Last Kingdom, Seven Kings Must Die occupies my 5th place and should not be ashamed to do so. Despite being a fan service to those who enjoyed 5 seasons of The Last Kingdom TV show and relying pretty heavily on already established characters, I think it's still quite watchable for those newcomers who will just keep their expectations a little bit at bay. And if you're able to sit through some plain exposition, you will be greatly rewarded with a worthy culmination, which is a Battle of Brunanburh and a victory for King Athelstan that prevented the dissolution of England. Speaking of battles, Ridley Scott's Napoleon takes my 4th place. Now, this one got basically bulldozed to the ground by most reviews for its historical inaccuracy, poor study of Napoleon's character, and a disjointed story. Some say Joaquin Phoenix's acting was one-dimensional and unsure, some praise it. Most agree that Vanessa Kirby was great, and all agree that story like that deserves its own miniseries. All this fair criticism aside, I still think it's a well-filmed historical epic worthy of watching. And if anything, at least it should inspire people to research Napoleon's life and character on their own. And if 4-hour director's cut will not connect all the dots, I say we just rename it to Napoleon and Josephine and wish Ridley Scott all the best luck with Gladiator 2, because he will need it. My number 3 leaves this one far behind, despite having only $6 million budget and only 1.5 hours of runtime. Now technically, Sisu is an action film, but being set during the end of World War II, it does such a great job of painting us a Finnish Lapland during that awful time, so I have no problem in qualifying it. The film is about the gold prospector with a dramatic past that crosses paths with the rogue SS. Basically a very graphic survival story. Think Tarantino making The Revenant, only without his iconic dialogue. In fact, the main character doesn't speak a word in the first 20 minutes or so. And guess what? He doesn't need to. The film can be easily recommended to film students on how successfully show, not tell. The visuals are breathtaking, the pacing is tight, and the movie is lasered focus on everything it tries to achieve and the audience it tailors to. It just stands out against any other similar attempts. Okay, my last 2 spots are taken by true giants, and here I feel many would probably disagree with my opinion, so please, let me know in the comments below how you would build your list and if there are any movies that I should have mentioned. Putting Oppenheimer second was not easy. I love Christopher Nolan's work and this one is no exception. And the fact that all effects here are practical, no CGI whatsoever, makes it very palpable. It just pulls you in. The film is almost overstuffed with A-list cast and cameos, fantastic performances across the board. I love Matt Damon in it, and Cillian Murphy's eyes is just a perfect mirror to tell the story of consequence, regret, and despair. Real masterclass. The script, sadly, is somewhat too clean and lacking heart, and all the characters mostly rely on actors' talents and the flawless execution of the dialogue, just making it harder to engage on a human level. The midsection of the film relating to Manhattan Project is definitely the strongest, but then we get treated of 1 hour of what feels like a courtroom drama, and that does very little to let us deeper into Oppenheimer's character. Extremely intelligent, non-chronologically told film that can be somewhat challenging to appreciate to the full if you let your attention to wander, even if it's just for a second. This one can shoot for an Oscar, and the lovely part is that it doesn't feel at all that it was Christopher Nolan's intention. He just made a good film. But Martin Scorsese's Killers of the Flower Moon beats it for me, and here is why. This is a long overdue, extremely compelling story of the murders among Osage Native American tribe. The story of injustice, greed, ignorance, and love. This one just can't leave you indifferent. Scorsese is known for taking his sweet time, be it from shooting one simple scene to his project's length in general. Here is no different, but it works. Even being half an hour longer than Oppenheimer, it just feels like this film uses its time more wisely. If I'd be very picky, I'd say maybe the final point could have been driven home more efficiently, but I personally had no problem sitting through it on one breath. How can I not mention the acting here? De Niro's performance is just brutally honest. DiCaprio's conflicted and easy to bend Ernest Burkhart is absolutely fascinating to watch, and frankly he nails it. And Lily Gladstone does such a subtle and soulful job that you just can't help but feel for her Molly Burkhart from the very beginning to the very end. In fact, if it wouldn't be for her, there would be nothing to play the bad guys off of. Despite maybe not being Scorsese's Mona Lisa, the film has a heart and is a nearly flawless example of what is a good cinema and not some easy digestible, forgettable bubblegum content. So not a bad year overall, and let's all hope for even better 2024. Thank you so much for all your support this year, and I'll see you in the next one.